Hey guys, what's going on? It's DJ TLM, the last Mohican, and you're watching DJ TLM TV. And in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about using the loop function. I'm going to give you 5 examples of cases where you could use the loop function that you can find on the CDJ and most CD players, and of course in your DJ software. If you're not familiar with the loop function or what a loop is, it means that you select a certain part of a song and the loop function allows you to play that selected part and repeat it in a continuous loop. So it will keep on playing just that part that you selected. That's the loop. I'm going to show you how you can make a loop in Serato Scratch Live, but the technique to make a loop is the same in my DJ software as it is on the CDJ and other players and other DJ software. Little hip-hop history. Back in the days, we used to make our own loops before we had the loop function, and we did it by using turntables and taking 2 copies of the same song. Let me show you right now. I have the same song loaded in both decks right here. That's the beat right there. And that's the same beat right there. Now, in order for me to keep this beat going, because it only lasts a couple of bars and then it changes on the song, this is what we did. Now, as you can hear, the beat just kept on playing, and what I did is I played that part on one record. When that part got to the end, I played the same part from the other record while rewinding the one on the first, and keep on playing it that way. So you had your manual way to repeat a selected part and keep it playing for as long as you wanted it to. Now, with modern technology, you don't have to use this way. I like to do this, but we're talking about mixing now. And if I'm going to do a mix, I'm not going to have the same song on both decks, so I won't be able to use the backspinning technique that I just did. That's when the loop function comes in. So let me show you how you can make a loop, and I'll show you in Serato Scratch Live. But like I said, the technique works the same on the CDJ as it does in any DJ software. It's all about setting a start point and an end point for the loop. Now I'm going to take the same beat that I just used for my backspinning. Now what you're going to do is, I want my loop to start right here. So I'm going to go, and that's what you can do in your software or on your CDJ or other player. You'll find an in button, and in is where you want your loop to begin. Alright, now I'm going to just take 4 counts. And as you see, it's selected in green, so I can see where my loop portion is. I want it to stop right there because that's where I want it to start playing from the beginning again. So right here, I'm going to press out. It jumps straight to the beginning, and when I play it now, it'll continue to play for however long I want it to continue. So that's one way to do it in Serato. Serato gives you a second option as well. Let me close the loop first. It also has an auto loop, and my songs are analyzed, so the software already knows the BPM, and it can set the loop for me automatically. So I just go to the beginning where I want my loop to begin, and I want it to begin here. And over here, I can select how long I want my loop to last. 4 counts, and you can go higher up to 8, 16, or even 32. So I'm going to take 8. As you see now, the loop is selected. And if I play it, there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It gives me an 8 count loop. So that's the way it will work on most equipment, probably all equipment. You have a start point that mostly is called in, and the end point that's called the out. So in and out, you set your loop, your beginning, and where you want it to end, and start repeating. That's where your out point is. Once you have that set, your loop is good to go. The loop function can be a lifesaver. And this first example of a situation where you could use or should use the loop function is very recognizable for beginning DJs. I used to practice at home, and I would have one track playing and I would have the other track on my headphone. I'm trying to get the tempo right, adjusting the pitch, and I'm having trouble to hear which record is in front or behind, and that's what you do when you practice. But sometimes I took too long and the record that was playing would end. Now when you're at home, that's all good. That's what practice is for. But if you're in a situation where you're playing in front of people, and that could be at a house party or a bar or a big venue, you do not want the track that's playing to end before you mix in the next record. So that will be like the deadly silence. You do not want that to happen. So imagine you're playing in a club, you only have a minute left, 30 seconds left on the track that's playing, and your mix is not ready. You don't have the tempo correct for whatever reason. I mean, you could just throw that track in, but imagine if you really want to do the mix, you want to blend it, you'll take the last part of the song that's playing, and in that last part you just pick a little piece, set a loop, and it will keep on playing and give you time to get the mix right. Let me show you right now. If I start the track now, it only has like 28 seconds left, so I'm gonna set an auto loop. I could do it manually by pressing in and out, but if I want to be more safe, I'm going to use the auto loop because it will get it tight. Now this will keep on playing for however long I want it to continue, and now I can get the other record right. So as you see, that's a perfect situation when the loop function is a lifesaver. But you need to remember though, although you can extend the song for however long you want it to, don't let that loop play for minutes on because the crowd will get bored. The second example is a situation where you want to extend a part of the song to make it long enough to make a nice blend. And I'll show you a situation like that right now. I have a beat here, and that beat is gonna go into just the bass line. Couple more counts. 1, 2, 3, and now I want to do my blend on that part. I want to start this beat right there. Now I already matched the BPM, so I'm not gonna need to do that right now, but I'll show you what happens if I do that now without using the loop. 1, 2, 3. Oh, the beat stopped. That's where that beat switches. So that's not a nice blend because it's way too short. I need those drums to last a lot longer until I have my blend the way I want it. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go back to the beginning. I'm gonna put an 8 count loop on that. That's ready. Now this is gonna give me plenty of time to do a blend. Here we go. Whatever, I could have done that like 20 different ways, but that's just to illustrate that when you have a loop set, it gives you the freedom to make a blend like that last longer. I could have kept it going on even longer, or I could have switched earlier, but what I did, I had the 8 counts of beat, I had them on loop, and when it was time to switch, I turned off the loop, so this song continued to play and it went on to the next part of that song. So that's definitely a situation, and it could be a million different scenarios with that, but that allows you to do more with a song that you have, because otherwise I would only have those 4 counts of beat and that's all you have. Now for the third example, I can use the same loop that I just used for the blend, and this is a situation where you're playing with an MC, or you're MCing yourself in your DJ set, and you want to have a couple of bars to do whatever, say something to the crowd, hype them up, or spit a rhyme, whatever, but you need a little instrumental part to do that. Now what you could do, I just did a mix, and when it was time to switch, I turned the loop off. But instead of turning the loop off, I could also leave the loop on and keep the drums going for a little while and use that part for the MCing. So imagine I'm doing the blend. I'll take that back to the beginning again. Take this back to the beginning. The loop is off. I'll turn that back on. Now here we go again. That's the blend, and I'm going to take it out right now. But instead of turning this loop off, you can keep it on, and this is the time to grab that mic and be like, what's going on everybody, my name is DJ TLM, whatever, let me see those hands up, y'all ready to get the party started, because we're going to do it a little bit like this, whatever, and then start the song. So in this case, I was the one doing the MCing, but you could have an MC right there, and he could be saying something to the crowd, and he can give you a cue like start the track, or maybe you can already tell like, all right, let me throw it in right now. But this also gave me the time for a little bit of MCing, or I could use that time and do a little scratch solo before I start that track. But it gives you a little instrumental part in the middle of a mix for MCing or scratching or anything like that. Now the fourth example is a totally different situation, and in this case it's not about extending a part of the song to make a certain mix happen or give your MC some time to rhyme, whatever. No, in this case I have 2 songs with totally different BPMs, totally different tempos. I have a track that's 84 and I have a track that's 120 BPM. That's a world apart, and you couldn't be able to do that with your pitch, and if you could, it would not sound good at all. So we're going to use the loop function to make a transition. I'm going to do this in 2 different ways. One is in Serato, and I'm going to have to manually set the in and out point, but I recommend that you don't try this on the fly, so don't try this while the track is playing in the club. If you're really a master at it already, you might get it right, but it's kind of difficult to get it right. So in this case, I had the idea, so I'll prepare that at home and set the loop marker here. I'll also show you a way to do it on the fly with an effect that's on the mixer. Let's do it with the turntables and Serato first. So we have our 84 BPM track right here, and I'm going to take a word. Hot, that's the word we're going to take. As you see, I already had a loop set. I'm going to do it again right now manually, so I'm going to hit in, because that's where I want it to begin. But in order to know where I want it to end, I want to hear the tempo of the faster track. So I'm going to play that track on my headphone right here. So now I can hear the tempo. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my finger on the out button, and I'm going to throw it in time. And I can hear it. That's a little bit too long, and I can adjust my loop now just a little bit, make it a little bit shorter like that. Now, this is probably not perfect yet, but if you're practicing this at home and preparing, do it till you get it right. But I'm going to show you what happens if I use this right now. So the song is playing at this tempo, and now we're going to get to that vocal part. The crowd might be wondering what's going on, but once you hit them with the other track at the same tempo, in no way was that a perfect blend, but you get the idea. So if you're gonna do this and prepare this at home, do it till you get it right. And just in case your loop isn't perfect, and in these cases it's not always that easy to get it perfect, you can adjust what I just did, the tempo while the loop is playing, because I heard that the loop was getting a little bit behind. So I just increased the tempo on the loop track and until I got it just about right. But that gives you a way to make a transition from like 84 BPM, which is not that fast, all the way up to 120. Now there's another way to do this, and this is a way that you can use to do it on the fly, and that is by using effects on the mixer. In this case, I'm going to use the loop roll effect that's on the mixer. And normally if you're going to use an effect, you're going to use it in the tempo of the song that's playing. So normally this is the tempo. So that's how you would use it. In this case, you don't want it to be this tempo, you want it to be that tempo. So the song will be playing on your headphones. You will grab that 120 BPM track and you're going to tap that tempo into his effects bank. So now the tempo for the effects for this song is at the tempo of that track. So now I can do the same thing but on the fly. Same thing. So I just showed you two different ways to do the same thing, and that's make a transition by using the loops so you can switch tempos. The last example I want to show you is a case where you can use the loop function as just a little extra as an effect when you're doing a mix. In no way is this necessary, but it's just a little trick that you could use just to take out a certain track. In this case, we're going to take a loop, and in Serato and on the CDJ, you can make that loop longer, but you can also make it shorter. And once you make it a real short portion, you can't really hear the music anymore. It changes into almost a tone, and it sounds a little bit like this. So we're gonna take a loop, and now we're gonna make that shorter. There's a tone. You get the idea. Don't do this too many times because people will hate you. I remember when the CDJs came out with the loop function and DJs discovered this effect. Every DJ will be doing the same thing. And just throw a beat on it, and You know, the first time you hear it, it's cool. The second time you're like, oh, okay, I heard that. And after a couple of times, you're gonna hate the DJ. But you can do this subtle in a blend, and it can be a nice extra effect. Well, this is actually the same tempo, so. So guys, that's the 5 examples that I have for you right now of situations where you could use the loop function. And I hope the video gave you a little bit more insight into the usefulness of the loop function. I don't use it a lot, but there's definitely times when it's handy to be able to extend a certain part of the song. And I know there's a lot of people out there that use the CDJs or use DJ software, and they're not taking advantage of the functions that are right there at their fingertips. So there's a million different situations where you can use loops. And if you have questions or if you want to share another example of how to use the loop function, join the conversation, leave a comment in the comments section. I'm DJ TLM, and you can catch me very, very soon with more tips and tricks and tutorials. And be sure to check out djtlmtv.com. I'm out.